Picture this. A man lifts a vial of cobra venom to his lips, takes a sip, and smiles. Sounds like madness, doesn't it? Yet he's standing there alive. How is that possible? Stay with us to find out. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you swallowed snake venom? Most of us imagine an almost instant death, foam at the mouth, a dramatic collapse. After all, venom is one of nature's most feared weapons. But in today's episode, we're going to turn that idea on its head. From a spiritual leader in India who famously drank cobra venom during a ritual to scientists in Brazil and Australia who dedicate their lives to understanding these toxins, we'll separate fact from fiction. We're not just telling you a story, we're taking you on a journey through temples, research labs, and ancient myths. And don't worry, along the way you'll discover some astonishing truths about snakes that might even make you respect them more. Ready to have your assumptions challenged? Let's dive in. Before we explain why someone might survive drinking venom, let's clear up some terminology. In English, we use poisonous for organisms that harm you when touched or eaten, like poison dart frogs, and venomous for those that inject toxins through fangs or stingers. Snakes are venomous. They inject their cocktail of proteins directly into prey. Out of over 3,000 snake species on Earth, only about 600 are medically significant to humans. The rest either have mild venoms or none at all. So while Hollywood portrays snakes as universally deadly, most are harmless, pest-controlling animals that want nothing to do with us. There's also no such thing as a universally most deadly snake. Toxicity is measured by LD50, the dose that kills 50% of test animals. By that metric, the inland taipan of Australia has a venom about 180 times more potent than that of a king cobra. Yet taipans live in remote deserts and rarely bite anyone, whereas less toxic vipers cause far more human fatalities because they live near farms and villages. Danger is a mix of potency, behavior, and proximity. So why does a drop injected under your skin cause agony and cardiac arrest, yet the same drop swallowed by an eccentric mystic in India might not even give him a stomachache? The secret lies in how our bodies process proteins. Snake venoms are sophisticated blends of enzymes, peptides, and other molecules designed to immobilize and digest prey. Neurotoxins disrupt nerve signals, causing paralysis. Hemotoxins destroy blood cells and tissues, leading to hemorrhage. Cytotoxins rupture cell membranes. When a snake bites, these components are delivered directly into your bloodstream or tissues. They bypass the gut and go straight to work, binding to receptors on muscles, nerves, and blood cells. But when venom travels down the digestive tract, it enters a hostile environment. Your mouth is full of enzymes that start breaking down proteins immediately. Then the venom hits the stomach, an acidic vat with a pH of 1.5 to 3. Hydrochloric acid denatures proteins, unraveling their three-dimensional shapes. Enzymes like pepsin and trypsin chop them into tiny amino acids. A 2020 study by the University of Adelaide showed that over 90% of neurotoxins and hemotoxins tested were inactivated within minutes under simulated stomach conditions. In other words, the venom's keys no longer fit the locks on your cells once they've been dismantled by digestive juices. What started as a weapon becomes nothing more than nutrients. That's why you occasionally hear about people drinking venom and suffering no ill effects. One famous example is Sadhguru, a spiritual teacher who appeared on stage with a glass of cobra venom, told his audience not to try it, and then swallowed a small amount. Clips of the event circulated widely.
Venom with milk. Why?
It's venom, it's not poison. You need to understand that.
Herpetologists pointed out that the venom was diluted, and that Sadhguru later admitted he had trained his body gradually and knew what he was doing. This doesn't mean venom is a health tonic. It means that, in the absence of wounds, the stomach can neutralize it. What do the experts say? Researchers at the Instituto Butantan in Sao Paulo, one of the world's leading centers for venom research, explain that digestive enzymes are remarkably efficient. Dr. Denise Tamborgi, who studies the biochemical pathways of snake venoms, notes that the molecules are designed to work in blood and tissue environments, not acidic, enzyme-rich stomachs. For venom to harm you after ingestion, it would need to pass intact through the stomach lining, she says. That generally doesn't happen unless you have ulcers, open sores, or other injuries in the digestive tract. This view is echoed by American herpetologist Brian Fry from the University of Queensland. Known for his fieldwork on venomous animals, Fry famously described venom as just a specialized saliva with a job. In his words, it's all about delivery. Without fangs to inject it, venom is like a bullet without a gun. Peer-reviewed studies published in journals like Toxicant support this. When venoms from various cobras, vipers, and krites were subjected to gastric stimulation, their toxicity plummeted. There are documented cases of people who accidentally swallowed venom during snake milking procedures and survived, often because the venom never reached their bloodstream. It's crucial to highlight that survival doesn't equal safe. The same studies caution that even trace amounts of venom entering the bloodstream via microscopic cuts in the mouth or esophagus can be dangerous. This is why snake handlers in anti-venom facilities always wear protective gear and avoid swallowing any venom that might aerosolize or splash. Ingesting venom is not a parlor trick. It is a controlled demonstration under very specific conditions. Of course, there are scenarios where venom doesn't need fangs to be lethal. Spitting cobras have evolved an extraordinary defense. They squeeze their venom glands and expel a jet of neurotoxic liquid through modified fangs. These jets can accurately hit the eyes of a threat from up to 3 meters away. Venom on the skin is harmless, but on the eye's thin membranes it causes intense pain, inflammation, and, without prompt treatment, blindness. Herpetologists at Liverpool's School of Veterinary Science report that 90% of their patients attacked by spitting cobras suffer corneal ulcers and require immediate irrigation and anti-venom therapy. In these cases, the venom doesn't need to be swallowed or injected. It simply needs access to vulnerable tissue. Another exception involves alcohol and traditional snake wine. In parts of Asia, it's common to infuse rice wine with whole venomous snakes, believing the drink confers strength or virility. While the ethanol in strong liquor can denature some proteins, it doesn't neutralize all toxins. Moreover, alcohol can irritate the stomach lining, creating microabrasions that allow venom components to cross into the bloodstream. Medical records from hospitals in Vietnam and China describe cases of acute renal failure and neurological symptoms after ingesting snake wine. Doctors conclude that the danger comes from a combination of venom and mucosal damage. Similarly, anyone with conditions like acid reflux, ulcers, or recent dental surgery should never expose themselves to venom, however diluted. Even a tiny tear in the esophagus could provide a portal for toxins. That's why the "nothing happens if you drink venom" narrative is misleading at best. For the average person, there is no good reason to ingest these substances intentionally. Despite the science, myths persist. In rural Brazil, a folk remedy involves taking a shot of cachaca with venom from a jararaca, a pit viper. People claim it heals arthritis or boosts masculinity. Toxicologist Dr. Marcus Lacerda has spent years debunking this practice. His team from Fiocruz documented several cases of internal bleeding and liver failure linked to the concoction. In one famous story, a farmer from Minas Gerais insisted on drinking jararaca venom daily. He was hospitalized after developing stomach ulcers. Tests revealed venom toxins in his bloodstream. His recovery was slow and required anti-venom. On the flip side, there are genuine cultural practices that illustrate humanity's complex relationship with snakes. In parts of West Africa, certain tribes perform initiation rites where young warriors put a non-venomous snake in their mouths to prove bravery. These snakes rarely bite, and if they do, their venom is mild. The ritual symbolizes respect for the animal rather than defiance of death. In Thailand, snake charmers sometimes place cobras' heads in their mouths during shows, but investigators have found that the fangs are often surgically removed or the venom glands are emptied beforehand. Audiences assume it's raw courage, but behind the scenes there is careful management of risk. Real stories also include scientists accidentally ingesting venom. In 2019, a lab worker at a university in the United States accidentally splashed cobra venom onto his lips while preparing samples. He immediately rinsed his mouth and reported the incident. Doctors monitored him for several hours, and he experienced no symptoms. The case was published in a toxicology bulletin as an example of why mouth exposure is usually safe when addressed promptly. So what happens if you drink snake venom? In most circumstances, your body's digestive system will break it down into harmless components, and you'll live to tell the tale. This fascinating fact should inspire awe at how our physiology can neutralize such a powerful natural weapon. However, it should not embolden anyone to test their luck. Venom is designed to kill through injection, and there are plenty of variables, like eye exposure, open wounds, or mucosal damage, that can turn a harmless demonstration into a medical emergency. Snakes themselves are not evil creatures, but integral parts of ecosystems, keeping rodent populations in check and even contributing to medicine. Many blood pressure drugs and anticoagulants were derived from snake venom components. Our fear of snakes often stems from misunderstanding. By learning about how venom works, we not only dispel myths, but also gain respect for these animals and the scientists who study them. Next time you hear someone say a snake is poisonous, you'll know to ask, do you mean venomous? And if someone brags that drinking venom proves bravery, you'll understand there's much more to the story. Which part of this journey surprised you the most? Did you expect stomach acid to neutralize such a lethal substance? Let us know in the comments. And if this episode gave you a new perspective, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We release weekly documentaries exploring the incredible world of snakes. You can also support our channel directly through the link pinned in the first comment. Keep watching this video that's playing on your screen.